A clan's most dreaded research is the Hema, and today I want to find out exactly if all that trouble was worth it. Hey guys, hello and welcome back. As always, my name is Leyzar, and we're about to dive into this Mastery Rank 7 primary weapon, the Hema. I'm gonna be covering a cheap build, something affordable that anybody can build, but of course we also have the classic end-game setup with a Riven. That being said though, please keep in mind that my builds and guides follow a new player-friendly approach. Simply because there's a lot of info here and I want anybody watching to understand how the weapon functions and how it should be built. But you might be a veteran of the game and not interested in all this new player business. You're invited to skip ahead or have a bit of patience. And with that out of the way, let's jump into the Hema. Let's begin by having a look at how the weapon behaves without any mods equipped. And I'm gonna be taking a couple of free shots. You'll notice that the Hema is a burst rifle and the projectiles do have travel time. Per shot you are going to be consuming free ammo of a magazine of 60, so therefore you're going to be getting an effective size of 20. Now, being a burst rifle, it does have one of those climbing recoils. Now, if you take a look at this position, you will notice that the last projectile I'm firing is not catching the top of the pillar. The wiki does state that the accuracy is good and so is the recoil, but as you can see, depending on the distance between you and your target, it is affected by the same old problem with burst rifles. You'll also notice that the Hema doesn't really have any ammo reserves. That is because it relies on your blood to get its ammo, like this. It kind of like attaches to your vein and start. In any case, per ammo, it's gonna suck 0.05 of your health away. A full magazine will mean 3% of your maximum health. However, there is a benefit to this. Again, the health cost is rather minor from my point of view, and the beauty of the Hema is that headshots will be restoring 10% of the damage they deal to you as health, which is absolutely awesome. So you can get a little bit of your health back. Let's jump into stats to see precisely what we're dealing with. Mod capacity is going to be 60 out of 60, and if your Hema only has 30 out of 30, then jump into actions and install an auto king catalyst. This one can be found from alerts, invasions, or if you're lucky, from the daily sortie. No access to the sortie just yet, progress further through the game and you will. You also have the option of paying 20 plat for this one. My weapon has been formatted a total of 5 times, but this was done only for the purpose of testing. For the weapon builds I'm recommending you guys, you can get away with 4, maybe 3. Accuracy is 20, and as you saw there, the initial projectile leaving the, chamber is very accurate, but you do gotta contend with that climbing recoil, which means that the third projectile is nowhere near the target of the first, once again depending on distance. Crit chance is low at only 11%, and this is the weapon's biggest weakness, but the multiplier is quite nice at 2.0x. That means that you're gonna be getting a great benefit of critical chance additive after effects, such as Arcane Avenger for example, and of course Harrow. Fire rate of 6 with a magazine of 60 and a reload of 2.0. This is super solid. There's very little downtime out of the Hema, and again the health cost upon reload from my point of view is negligible. Riven disposition 3 out of 5, which means that the Hema, well, when new weapons get released, D gives them the middle disposition, and they haven't updated it since, so there you go. We can't really know right now how popular the Hema is. I don't see a lot of players using it. Status chance of 25%, and the damage it deals by default is viral damage, which is absolutely amazing. Viral damage is one of the best elemental combos in the game. On status proc, it will reduce the maximum health of a target to 50% for the duration of the viral effect, so that is absolutely huge. Also, it is an elemental combo default on the weapon, so if I want to increase the value of that viral damage, I'm gonna have to remake the elemental combo within the weapon. For example, if I was just to add some more cold, for example, with cryo rounds, it does not get combined into the default viral. If I want that, then I'm gonna have to add some toxin and then it gets combined. Anyway, let's start slapping on some mods, starting with mandatory mod. Serration 165% extra damage. Stay away from heavy caliber. This one is absolutely terrible on the Hema, especially as soon as you slap on some multi-shot. This is a fantastic mod and I love it. However, for certain weapons, it simply does not work unless you want to use it super close range. That is your option. I advise against it. Multi-shot with split chamber as well as vigilante armaments, 150% multi-shot. Now that's absolutely awesome, especially considering that the Hema is a burst rifle. I advise you slap on as much multi-shot as you can, especially if you manage to get a Riven with multi-shot, but more on Rivens a tad later. Going into critical chance and critical damage from this point, to be honest, is so not worth. You can try it though. Point strike 150% crit chance. That means that I'm getting effectively 16.5% crit chance at a point strike. I can go even with Argon Scope and maybe slap on Arcane Avenger and try Hunter Munitions. I have tried a build such as that. It was simply underwhelming. So therefore, no crit chance, no crit damage, no Hunter Munitions, and no slash. Next, we're gonna go into elemental damage, and elemental damage should be applied on a weapon depending on circumstances. Where are you going? Who are you shooting? And so on and so forth. For example, if you're going up against the Infested with an Infested weapon, well, the Hema doesn't do terribly well because the Infested kinda tend to swarm you with their numbers. They're fairly weak, so I would recommend AoE weapons heavily modded into heat. If you're going up against Corpus faction, then I would recommend you build Gas or Toxin, as it bypasses their shields entirely and deals damage to their health. The Grineer currently in Warframe are seen as the toughest targets because they have two armor types, Alloy, which is weak to radiation damage, and Ferrite armor, which is weak to corrosive damage. Against Grineer, your best option, more often than not always though, is to build corrosive damage, which is the elemental combo between electricity and toxin. So let's build some. Let's start off with electricity. In the case of the Hema, we're gonna be using both the 90s and the 60s, so Stormbringer together with high voltage. On the build I'm showcasing right now, high voltage is going to be the only expensive-ish mod. Currently on the trade chat it's going for about 40 plat on PC, maybe 50. It is farmable, however, from the game. The mission is called Naeglar on the planet Eris. You gotta find all the free secret caches, then upon extraction you got a 5% chance of getting high voltage or shell shock. Shell shock is the exact same thing but only for shotguns, and you will need both for your primary builds. The grind on Naeglar is absolutely crappy, so I would recommend, if you have the plat, just hit up the trade chat and spare yourself the hassle. Got my electricity. Next we're gonna go to Toxin, Malignant Force from Corrupted, Vor in the Void, 60% Toxin, 60% status chance. From the trade chat you can get this one for 10 plat, an Infected clip as well. Look at that corrosive value, 930. Now out of viral, you don't need 1,000 procs, you just need 1-2 good ones. Again, you're not gonna be reducing the health of your target further than 50%. However, when it comes to corrosive, you do want additional procs, as many as you can, so you can reduce the armor of an enemy and subsequent shots will be dealing more and more damage. So you see, this is why I'm after a higher value in corrosive than I am in viral. Also keep in mind that this weapon only has 2 elementals on it, so it's gonna be proccing all day long. It's absolutely fantastic because it doesn't have to contend with IPS, Impact, Puncture and Slash, which would have stolen some of the procs. The last mod slot on a weapon is what I like to call the option slot. Plug into this one whatever you feel comfortable with. My recommendation to you guys is gonna be Shred or Prime Shred if you have that one. Fire rate with Punch Through, and this is gonna be the first build we're gonna be testing out. We're gonna be spawning in Corrupted Heavy Gunner level 120, and I'm just gonna leave invincibility off just so you can see the health cost of the Hema. Let's see what this puppy can do. That is pretty good, isn't it? Now that is definitely impressive from my point of view. It's only MR7, and at MR7 I know plenty of other rifles that don't do as much as the Hema. However, it doesn't have crit, and a lot of players enjoy crit. I'm one of those players. So if you don't mind playing a status weapon, basically I get viral procs and I get corrosive procs as well, and as you can see I can absolutely murder these high level targets. The Hema can be a competitive weapon. It's not even close to being one of the best rifles in the game, but do you actually need the best of anything when it comes to Warframe? That's a question for you to answer. In any case, that's not all we're gonna be doing. We're gonna pump up everything right now through a Riven Setup, and I did manage to get one. Check out this one. It's a Satiata unrolled with multi-shot and damage. When it comes to stats priority for the Hema, because of that low base crit chance, I wouldn't recommend you going to critical chance and critical damage. What I would recommend is multi-shot and damage above everything else. Then if you guys can get an elemental, perhaps some toxin or electricity and a negative, that would be fantastic. As it stands now, this is kind of the Riven you're looking for. And this one took the place of Shred, and we're going to be testing the weapon out like this, just so we can see what a dispo-free Riven can do, and of course the exact same targets as before. Corrupted Heavy Gunner level 120. Now you will see that I'm not firing as fast as before because I don't have Shred anymore. However, my per shot damage has gone through the roof, and that is absolutely bloody glorious. Check out what the Hema is capable of. Now my hand is a little bit shaky because I've been carrying furniture all day long, but I think I can still hit standstill targets, and next we're gonna be amping up absolutely everything with Warframe Buffs. But as you can see, a Riven such as this does make quite the difference. And you know what? Hema Rivens currently aren't that expensive. You can get an unrolled one for about 40 plat. Head on over to Kuva and see if you get lucky. Now, what about those Warframe buffs? For that, we're gonna be relying on Lady Mirage Prime, my favorite weapon specialist. Now, let's check out the buffs. First of all, we got Pistol Lamp, which will do nothing for us. We're gonna replace it with Rifle Lamp. 27% extra damage to rifles. This is an aura, so everybody in your party will be receiving this benefit, and it is stackable ×4. When it comes to arcanes, the best one you can get is called Rage, and this one is not terribly expensive either. On headshot, 10% chance for plus 120% damage to rifles for 16 seconds. Currently on PC, this one is going for around 100 plat DR3. If not, you can farm it from the third Eidolon down on Cetus. As for your second arcane, what I would recommend is Arcane Avenger. Remember what we said about bonus additive after effects, especially for crit chance? Yes, this one will give you 30% crit chance when damaged, a 14% chance that is. So that means that my critical chance with the Hema will be going to 41%, plus I have that default multiplier of 2.0x. Now you can go for other solutions if you so desire. If you enjoy some fire rate, you can go for Arcane Acceleration. This one is a lot cheaper than Avenger. Avenger is around 100-110 plat. This one I think is around 50-70 plat, something like that. And this on critical hit will give you fire rate. Just keep in mind that you're not getting a lot of critical chance without Avenger on the Hema. So if you really want that fire rate and you cannot live without it, try Avenger with Acceleration. And we're gonna be testing the weapon out like this, and this time I'm gonna be on pausing the AI and pray to God that I actually can aim with this shaky arm. You know when you carry heavy stuff and then like the next day you have the pain and stuff. Wait, I didn't unpause. Damn it. There we go, now they're on pause. I'm gonna activate Mirage's free ability for a massive damage increase as well as her clones. Now let's see what the Hema can do, and as you can see the damage is absolutely bloody phenomenal. It can absolutely destroy one of these high level targets in just a burst, maybe 2 bursts. Maximum of 3, once again depending on how lucky you were with your shots. Take a look at that. Absolutely bloody glorious. I do like the Hema, however in general I am not a fan of burst rifles. If you're into burst rifles, then I would recommend you give the Hema a shot, but also the Dex C-Bodies and the C-Bodies Prime. From my point of view, the Hema is a pretty strong weapon, but still not worth all that trouble of getting the research done. As always, my name has been Leyzar. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. If you have any feedback for me or would like to request a specific weapon review, then by all means, leave it in the comment section down below. Now, I can't realistically promise you that it will be done by next time or even within a week, but you do have my promise that I will be reading for each and every comment. You can also catch me on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, all the usual places. But until next time, guys, bye-bye.